The data landscape has evolved in unexpected ways. In April 2025, Google reversed its long anticipated plan to deprecate third party cookies in Chrome, and many marketers breathed a sigh of relief. But that relief obscures the accelerated and strategic shift towards first party data, and the organizations treating Google's reversal as permission to delay are making a costly mistake. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Analytics Insight podcast, where we talk about the ever evolving tech space. And I'm your host, Priya Dialani. Consumer expectations for transparency keep rising. And perhaps most significantly, AI powered marketing now demands higher quality data signals that third party sources simply can't provide. The marketers gaining ground in 26 aren't the ones clinging to familiar third party tactics. They are the ones building first party data capabilities that will compound in value over time. Let's welcome Udit Verma, co founder and CMO of Trackier and Apptrove, to discuss how privacy shifts are redistributing controls between brands, platforms, and consumers, and what that means for growth. Hi, Udit, how are you doing?
Thanks a lot, Priya, for having me. I'm doing good. I think Analytics Insight has built a strong platform at the intersection of the AI, data, and business transformation. So it's great to be here discussing a topic that is fundamentally reshaping how brand grows in this privacy-first era.
Right, definitely, Udit. And since you have already given a very a spark to our conversation already, so let's build onto that and tell us more about Trackier and Apptrove, its specialization, and alongside that, a little bit more about you, Udit, your journey, and what's your role towards the company today.
Yeah, sure. So we operate two distinct yet deeply complementing businesses. One is Trackier, which is a performance marketing platform, a SaaS solution built for advertisers, agencies, ad networks, and brands who wants complete visibility and control over their marketing spend. We help businesses track every clicks, conversions, campaigns, outcome in the real time with full transparency. Our mission is simple: make performance marketing smarter, more transparent, and effortless for every business. Whether you are a startup running your first affiliate program or an enterprise managing thousands of partners globally. And on the other side, we have Apptrove, which is a mobile marketing platform and an MMP built specifically for the mobile first world. In an era of apps where the primary touch point for the consumers, Apptrove helps brand understand exactly where the app installs, in-app events, and revenue are coming from across every channels, every network, and every geography. And as a co-founder and CMO, I'm handling the role which is beyond marketing. I look at the market positioning and demand generation and ecosystem partnership through the thought leadership in the company. And in simple words, my job is to connect product innovation with market opportunity and the revenue growth.
Great. Thank you for that wonderful overview, Udit. And we're really glad to understand how the company is positioning itself in a rapidly evolving industry and how it is not just offering products or services, but actively solving larger business and technology challenges for consumers. With that being said, now in today's complex B2B landscape, the question of who truly owns the customer relationship has become more pressing than ever. With the lines blurring between sales, marketing, and customer success teams, determining ownership is not just a matter of organizational structure, but a critical factor that influences experience, user experience, and business growth. So, who actually, truly owns the customer? Or is it the brand or the platform or the consumer themselves?
I think this is the most important and honest question in the marketing today. And the uncomfortable answer is right now the platform do. But that era is ending. For the better part of the last decade, brands built their growth engine on the rented land. Facebook knew your customer better than you did. Google decided whether your ads where your ads was seen. Amazon owned the transactions, and brands are essentially tenants, like they are paying rent for accessing their own audience. So, but the pendulum is swinging. Regulations like GDPR, CCPA, India's DPDP Act, combined with the platform level changes like Apple's ATT framework and the slow death of the third party cookie, has posed an existential questions on every brand. What do you actually own? The honest answer is consumer own themselves. They are becoming increasingly aware of their data value. What brand need to do is the earning the direct relationship through a genuine value exchange, through own channels and through trust. The brand that win the next decade will those who have the infrastructure to build and maintain their direct relationship without relying on a platform to mediate it. This is exactly the problem space where Trackier and Apptrove is living in.
Right, Udit, and I think customer relationship today or the ownership, I believe, is no longer as straightforward as it used to be. And earlier brands controlled the narrative and experience and the relationship almost entirely, I would say. But now platforms have become the powerful gatekeepers. They are influencing discovery, engagement, and even purchasing decisions through algorithms and marketplaces and the overall digital ecosystems. I think,
Absolutely. I think that like depreciating of the third party cookies because
right.
of that, this thing happens.
And I think in many ways, customer ownership today is less about control and more about who consistently delivers trust and relevance to users today.
And I believe, as you said, it's just evolution of the attribution, it's beyond the acquisition.
Yeah,
How it matters when you start nurturing the consumer on their, on the basis of the personalization of that particular consumer. This is
right.
the beauty of, in-house platform, the own channels. You
Yeah.
can analyze data of your consumer itself and
Mm-hmm.
then pitch them the right product.
Right, right. And with that in place, Udit, I think we have witnessed a seismic shift in how companies operate, which are driven largely by technological advancements and the integration of SaaS solutions. So this evolution has ushered in the need for a fresh approach, one that prioritizes collaboration and interconnectedness. And that's where, the ecosystem first strategy comes into play. So, in this entire scenario, what I wanted to understand is who has gained and who has lost the most in this shift towards the first party ecosystems.
The biggest winner, in my opinion, are the large platform and the disciplined brands. So platform wins because data concentration gives them more strong optimization engines, better ads, targeting, and the more monetization leverage. Brands with a mature first party strategies also win because they build direct intelligence, purchase behavior, engagement, signals, and the loyalty loops. The biggest loser are the brands dependent on the rented audience and the performance marketeers who over-indexed on programmatic and the social retargeting. They built growth engine that ran entirely on the third-party signals, and overnight those signals got noisier, less accurate, and more expensive. Attribution became messy, ROS dropped, and acquisition costs spiked. And frankly, some ad networks and the measurement vendors who didn't evolve also lost. The ones who are surviving, and we see this is in our own ecosystem, are those who build tools that respect privacy while still delivering actionable intelligence. This is the space we occupy.
Right, Udit, and I think companies who have probably, deployed strong platforms and strong solutions, they kind of own the direct customer relationships, and that's giving and also having an engagement channel, so that gives them a clear and a stronger competitive edge in today's digital economy.
Absolutely.
Great. Now, when we talk about digital marketing, digital budgets are on the rise, and all eyes are on marketing to help businesses grow further. So,
Yes.
this has, led to marketers re-examining their usual strategies and looking for new ways to make an impact. So, their relationship with walled gardens has long been fraught with mixed feelings, which puts them at the top of the list of strategies to reevaluate. By tightly overseeing access to content and applications and services, these closed platforms aim to ensure a consistent and secure user experience. So, wall gardens also help maintain a competitive edge by creating a sense of ecosystem blocking, making it challenging for users to migrate to alternative platforms. So, according to you, are walled gardens becoming the new gatekeepers of customer access? And what does that mean for brands who are trying to build direct relationships with customers?
Absolutely. Walled garden are effectively the modern distribution infrastructure. The challenge is that while they provide scale, they often restrict transparency. Brands can buy reach, but understanding why outcomes happen becomes harder. That creates a dangerous dependency. The strategic response then abandoning the platform that's unrealistic. The smarter approach is diversification. Use platform for acquisition, but build your own relationship layer through CRMs, communities, owned app, loyalty program, subscription, and direct engagement channels. Because if your customer relationships exist only inside someone else ecosystem, it's not really yours. So you have to have your own, own relationship layer, which can be the CRMs and the communities.
Right, Udit. And I mean, I think platforms are now evolving, far beyond just advertising channels, and they're kind of becoming an entire ecosystem from discovery to transactions and customer support. So all of this happens within a closed environment. And, with wall gardens coming into picture, they're offering unmatched scale and precision and consumer insights. And on the other hand, like you said, with wall gardens, it's important that brands are also realizing that they don't fully own the customer relationship anymore.
Yeah.
It's the platform. So eventually you need to have that relationship layer where, the brand is somewhere, connected to the customer journey itself.
Yeah, absolutely. So the customer journey continues inside the ecosystem, not the platforms.
Right, right. Now, let's imagine a scenario where a user completes a transaction on your e-commerce website, yet the particulars pertaining to that purchase become absconded with an entirely disparate database from the one housing their contact details. Consequently, they find themselves grappling with an inability to forge connections and tailor a personalized experience for the user. So, what are the repercussions? Brands may inadvertently forego the opportunities to recommend a complementary products or offer targeted promotions. So that is eventually impacting the financial bottom line. So this disjointed nature of customer data not only impedes the brand's capacity to captivate and retain users, but somewhere also, is a hurdle in their marketing endeavors in achieving their full potential. So, how should brands rethink their growth strategies in a world where data signals are incomplete or fragmented?
I think the first mindset shift is accepting that perfect attribution is gone. And it was probably never as accurate as the dashboard made it look. We operated in a world of false precision for a long time. The new world demands directional intelligence over deterministic certainty. Here's a framework I advocate for. First, invest in the measurement diversity. Don't rely on any single attribution source. Use a multi-touch model as a baseline. Layer in incrementality testing to understand true causal impact and use media mix modeling MMM for upper funnel decisions. Apptrove is built to support all three in parallel. And the second point in the framework is build your own data signals. Every owned interaction, open apps, email clicks, loyalty, check-ins, purchase event is a signal you control. Brands need to instrument their own product like they instrument their ads. Most brands measure their media to death and barely measure their own channel. And the third element is use cohort thinking over last click thinking. Instead of asking which ad drove this conversion, ask which acquisition cohort is delivering the highest LTV 6 months out. That question requires better data infrastructure, but it leads to fundamentally better decisions. And the fourth and the last element is embrace probabilistic modeling. Deterministic modeling matching is getting harder. Privacy preserving probabilistic models, when done correctly, can recover 70 to 80% of signal you have lost, and often with the better accuracy for the long term prediction than the cookie-based tracking ever gave you. The brand that accept the adapt fastest will turn data fragmentation from crisis into the competitive mode.
That's a very important perspective, Udit, especially at a time when marketers are operating in an environment where traditional visibility into customer behavior is no longer guaranteed. Because for years, brand relied on third-party data and other tracking models to derive their growth strategies. But with evolving policy regulations and changing platform policies, and the customer journeys are also becoming so fragmented across different devices and channels, brands are being forced to rethink how they can understand and engage consumers. And it's interesting that growth no longer can be dependent only on a perfect attribution model or complete data set. They need to have strategies around adaptability and contextual intelligence using first party relationships. So I think it's pushing companies and brands to invest more in AI powered insights and predictive analytics to understand and build stronger customer communities instead of relying on purely performance marketing metrics.
Absolutely, yeah, you're right. So
Great.
which like the framework which which I advocate, the four key element they have to implement.
Yeah,
So most of the problem will be solved.
right, definitely. And in your earlier of your responses, that you mentioned that platforms are basically now, kind of the owners of customer data and relationships. Now, as marketing is evolving, so when it comes to marketing, there are different forms, which goes beyond just TV commercials or social media sponsored ads, and that's what typically we associate with marketing. In fact, there is a whole side of marketing that does not rely on such paid efforts, but on the channel a brand owns and operates. So this is known as the organic marketing or owned marketing. And it is equally as important to, marketing success like paid marketing. So why are own channels becoming so critical? And for brands who don't have one, how they can effectively build and leverage them?
Own channels are the only channel where the economics improve over time. Every dollars you spend on paid media yield diminishing returns as competition increases and platform raises the price. Every investment you make is own channel, email, push, notification, WhatsApp, in-app messaging, loyalty programs, compounds. Your list grows, your engagement data enriches, and your ability to personalize improve. And the math is simple. A brand with 5 million opt-in users is in a robust CRM can run a campaign at near zero marginal cost. A brand without that has to buy those same eyeballs from Meta every single time at whatever price Meta decide to charge that week. But building own channels required earning the opt-ins, and that is where most brands fail. They ask for data before they have delivered value. The right model is deliver a genuinely compelling experience, then earn the permission to stay in touch. That might be through content, through a community, through a reward program, but the exchange has to be real. Once you have those channels, the key is activation quality. Most brands have email lists they barely use. Put notifications they spam. WhatsApp account they broadcast to. The brand doing it right are using behavioral signals from their own channel to drive hyper personalized event targeting communication. This is where the tool like Trackier becomes incredibly powerful, connecting your affiliate and partner performance data back into your own channel strategies. So you know which partner are bringing you or which channel are bringing you the customer who actually engage long term.
Very well said, Udit. And I think own channels are evolving from being just a mere communication platform, but an ecosystem where brands can bring long-term relationship building. So whether it's newsletters or mobile apps or WhatsApp updates or branded content hubs, I think these channels are giving brands a greater control over customer experience, their data, engagement, and overall trust. And as consumers are also increasingly, expecting personalized and consistent interactions, brands that can build these strong owned ecosystems are much likely at the forefront of creating deeper loyalty and a stronger retention over time. Great. Now, since we discussed about third-party data and having own channels, now individuals find themselves in the dilemma of wanting to protect their personal information while also enjoying the convenience and connectivity that online services provide. Now, for instance, a user might express concern about a social media platform's data privacy practice, but continues to share personal data without much hesitation. So, this discrepancy between stated concerns and actual behavior describes the contradictory nature of privacy online. So, do you see privacy as something which is empowering consumers, or you think it is create friction in the overall experience?
I genuinely believe it is both. And the tension between those two things is where the most interesting marketing innovation is happening right now. Privacy is empowering, and consumer in 2025 are far more aware of how their data is used. And that awareness is a healthy correction to the industry that was frankly extractive for a long time. The ability to opt out, to know what is collected, to have data deleted. These are the real power that consumer deserve. But poorly implementing privacy create real friction. Cookie consent banners that are designed to confuse rather than to inform, opt-in flow that are buried in settings, and the permission requests that feels like interrogations when the privacy is used as a UX pattern rather than a genuine value to the consumer. It creates friction without trust. The brands and the platform getting their right are those who make privacy feels like a feature, not a compliance checkbox. Apple, whatever you think of their business motivates, has successfully positioned privacy as a part of their brand identity, and the consumer rewards them. Marketers should take a note. And from our perspective at Trackier and Apptrove, privacy by design is not a constraint. It is product strategy. We built our measurement infrastructure to work within privacy compliant framework from day one. That means our client can contribute to make more smarter decisions without having to compromise on their user trust. And in the long run, that trust is most valuable performance metrics of all.
I agree with you, Udit. And of course, I think you mentioned that you feel both like it's empowering also and it can create friction also. And I think with that being in said, I think businesses are also trying to deliver seamless and hyper personalized digital experiences, which often requires access to customer data. But there's clearly a delicate balance between convenience and control. And I think once the brands get this balance right, they're strengthening their compliance and security, but also building a deeper customer loyalty and long-term credibility. So I think in many ways, privacy is now evolving from a back-end IT concern into a competitive differentiator for brands.
100%, 100%.
Right. Now, with that being said, Udit, I think the shift toward first party data isn't a temporary response to cookie depreciation or privacy regulation. I think it's a very fundamental change in how brands can build successful customer relationships. With that being said, one last question for you is what should organizations or brands start doing today to be aligned in this evolving landscape or even to stay ahead of this evolving landscape?
I'll give you five things that I would act on immediately. Not someday, not next quarter, but now. One is the audit your data infrastructure. Most organizations don't actually know what data they are collecting, where it lives, and how actionable it is. Start there. You cannot build a first party strategy on a broken data foundation. And second thing is invest in a proper MMP and attribution framework. If you are running any meaningful mobile marketing, and you don't have a measurement partner set up properly, you are flying in a blind. And in a world of fragmented signals, measurement quality is a competitive advantage. Third thing, Build your opt-in audience aggressively. Every campaign you run should have a secondary goal. Capture a first-party data point, whether it's email, phone number, app installs, loyalty enrollment, whether whatever is relevant to your business. Treat list growth as a KPI with the same rigorous as the ROAS, return on ad spend. And fourth thing is test incrementality, not just the attribution. Run your first geo-based or hold out incrementality test this quarter. Understand what your media is actually causing versus what it is claiming credit for. You will be surprised and often relieved by what you will find. And the fifth point is rethink your partner and affiliate ecosystem. Performance marketing through verified partner is one of the most privacy compliant and outcome linked growth channels available today. It scales, it's transparent, and with the right platform, I think Trackier specifically, you have full visibility into every touch point. Brand that are doubling down on partner marketing right now are making a very smart bet. The organizations that will lead in this landscape are not the ones who wait for the dust to settle. They are the ones who build the muscle, the data muscles, the measurement muscles, the relationship muscles, while others are still figuring it out on what question to ask.
Definitely, Udit. I think brands investing in first party data capabilities today are building durable competitive advantages. They are creating the foundation for AI powered marketing that actually works. And they are developing customer relationships based on trust and value exchange rather than just surveillance. And they are positioning themselves to adapt as the regulatory and technological landscape continues evolving. Thank you so much, Udit, for taking out the time and effort to be on our podcast today and helping us understand about how first-party data ecosystem is extending beyond traditional marketing applications. Brands can get unified customer profiles and improved service experience across channels. They can get behavioral insights and inform product development decisions. And I think increasingly strong first party data assets enable new forms of partnerships and collaborations, and where they can create value for customers throughout their journey. Thank you so much, Udit, for your insights. It was lovely chatting with you.
Pleasure is all mine, Priya. Thanks for having me.
Great. So, this is for listeners. I hope you enjoy today's conversation around first party data, developing a first party ecosystem, and how brands can position themselves in building a strong customer relationships, but at the same time, also ensuring that they are retaining customers for a longer period of time. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes, and you can view all our previous episodes on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.